Right now, you can be in a room full of people and still feel completely, inexplicably alone. That feeling has a name, it has a science, and it has a history that is much older than you think. 50,000 years ago, a human being sat alone in the dark. No phone, no city, no way to call anyone. And they felt exactly what you sometimes feel. Here's something most people don't know about loneliness. It doesn't live in your heart. It lives in your brain, in the same neural pathways that process physical pain. Scientists at UCLA confirmed it. Social rejection and a broken bone activate the same regions of your brain. That is not a metaphor. That is neuroscience. So why would evolution wire loneliness as pain? Why would your body treat the absence of people the same way it treats the presence of fire? The answer goes back much further than psychology. It goes back to survival. For 95% of human history, there was no such thing as being alone by choice. The tribe was everything. It was your food supply, your defense system, your doctor, your memory. Every skill you needed to survive was held by someone else in your group. A human alone was a human dead, not metaphorically, literally. Without the group, you couldn't hunt large animals. You couldn't sleep safely. You couldn't survive childbirth. You couldn't protect your children. So your brain developed an alarm system, an alarm so powerful, so physical, so impossible to ignore that it forced you back toward the people who kept you alive. That alarm was loneliness. It wasn't weakness. It wasn't a flaw in your character. It was a warning signal. The same way thirst tells you that you need water. Loneliness told your ancestors, you are not safe. Find your people. But here's where it gets darker. Loneliness in ancient human groups wasn't always accidental. Sometimes it was a punishment. Ostracism, being deliberately excluded from the group, was one of the most severe punishments a tribe could impose. No violence needed, no weapons, just absence. You stop being acknowledged. You stop being included. You stop existing to the people around you. Research by psychologist Kipling Williams found that even brief social exclusion, just 2 minutes, raises stress hormones, lowers body temperature, and causes a measurable drop in what he calls the fundamental needs: belonging, control, meaningful existence, and self-esteem. 2 minutes. Now imagine days, weeks. For our ancestors, prolonged isolation wasn't just psychologically devastating. It was a physiological countdown. The body started shutting down. Sleep became fragmented, every sound a potential threat. Cortisol flooded the system. The immune response weakened. Being alone was making them sick, literally.
So, what did ancient humans actually do with loneliness? They didn't have therapy. They didn't have Instagram. They didn't have playlists for sad nights. They had something older and arguably more powerful. They had ritual. Archaeologists have found evidence of communal gatherings dating back 300,000 years, long before language was fully formed. Fires built not just for warmth, but for gathering. Cave art created not just as records, but as connection. The act of making something together, seeing it together, meaning something together. And they had touch. Primatologist Robin Dunbar, the same researcher who gave us Dunbar's number, found that grooming, physical contact, and proximity are the oldest forms of social bonding in primates. Your ancestors didn't just talk their way out of loneliness. They held each other. They slept together in groups, not for warmth alone, but because the sound of breathing nearby told the nervous system, you are not alone. You are safe. But here's the question that no one asks. Could an ancient human feel lonely inside the tribe? Yes. Archaeologist Stephen Mithen argues that the cognitive revolution, The moment around 70,000 years ago when human brains developed the capacity for complex thought also created a new kind of loneliness. The loneliness of a mind that thinks things it cannot express, of an inner world that no one around you can fully access. The first humans who could imagine the future were also the first who could feel the particular isolation of being misunderstood. Sound familiar?
The next time you feel lonely in a crowd, or lonely on a quiet night, scrolling through a phone, surrounded by connection and still somehow apart, remember that this feeling is not new. It is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It is the oldest alarm system in the human body, doing exactly what it was designed to do, telling you, go toward the light, find your people. You were not built to be alone. Your loneliness is 50,000 years old, and it has kept every single one of your ancestors alive long enough to bring you here. That's not a flaw. That's an inheritance. If you've ever felt this, and you have, the next video goes even deeper. Next, how did ancient humans deal with betrayal?